Peace to you and yours. Peace to you and yours. Welcome, family. Welcome to another episode of Melanin Monday. Before we begin, I want to say a huge thank you for all of the family in Houston and had us today that came out. I want to give a big up to Pop Darby. I want to give a shout out and a big ups to J Crypto, Slice, and my brother Iggy, biggest crypto play ever, and all of the Houston family that came out. We appreciate everyone. We went past Michael Singleton, KTL alumni. He pulled up, he was in the building. All of the family on the Zoom. Salute to everybody for being in the building. I appreciate every single one of y'all. For anybody who was not able to join us tonight, we did something at 4 p.m. We had a live stream coming out of Houston. You'll be able to view the rerun or the replay for that matter tomorrow. It'll be available tomorrow from Zoom. So if you hit the Cash App and you put lecture in there, send $33 and you'll have access to today's festivities and whatnot. It was a build, you know what I mean? It wasn't a slide lecture. It wasn't a full lecture. It was a demonstration, and you got to hear from the brothers from the biggest crypto play ever, and they was rolling it out. You feel me? So, as you know, I'm out of town. I'm in Texas. I'm in Houston. Shout out to all of the Houston family. Shout out to the H-Town family. All right, TSU. I see you. And I'm talking about Third Ward, Fifth Ward, Katy, Texas. You know, all of the family that's out here, Dallas, Fort Worth, Dallas. You know, I'm talking about all that. You know what I mean? Galveston Beach, all of the Texas family. Salute to all of y'all. You know, I love Texas, by the way. But let's do a roll call. Let's do a roll call. We're gonna talk our talk. We got some things to talk about today, so we're gonna chop it up. So let's get it in. Elizabeth, New Jersey was popping. You know what I'm talking about? Elizabeth, New Jersey was popping. Ottawa, Canada was popping. Virginia was popping. You feel me? New Orleans, PG County, Minnesota, Twinnesota. VA is in the building. Detroit, Michigan is in the building. Atlanta's in the building. Shout out to Atlanta, KTL and the ATL. Shout out to Blue Pill, Mama Pill. Shout out to Secret, all of the family that was at the opening of the new spa in the West End. The new spa that's in the West End. Make sure y'all support that. The spa is called a Zen Bar. Denver in the building, Charlotte in the building, Portland in the building, Citrus City, Orange, New Jersey in the building, 40th side of Vernon is up in here. Was popping. Houston by the way of Salona, okay, was really good. Cleveland. All right, Cleveland in the building. Was really good. So yes, Flatbush was really good. Flatbush, Texas A&M. So for the record, I love Houston. I love Texas for that matter. Wilmington, Montreal, Detroit, Boston in this thing. The 4 to the D, the BX, NYC. For my BX and my NYC people, man, we got to make sure you travel outside of New York a lot, see how other people are living, see what the quality of life is like in other states. You feel me? See what the real estate is looking like. You know, see how you feel when you're just riding, just driving down the highway, just cruising and whatnot. One thing that I love about Texas is that it's humongous. It's huge. You know what I mean? It's huge. And, you know, the way of life, it seems like they have an easy way of life. The quality of life is a lot better than what I see in places where people look worn down. Chi-Town in the building. Clayton County, ATL in the building. Toronto in the building. All right. Portland, Dallas, Wharton, Louisiana. Yeah, I wasn't even going to do a live tonight. You know what I mean? I did a lecture today, but I said, you know what? I got to give him this Melanin Monday. You feel me? I don't want to skip the Melanin Monday, you know. I know how I feel when I'm waiting for shows on YouTube to pull up. So I was like, you know what? Even though I'm half asleep because I've had a very long day, we're gonna have some conversation tonight. We're gonna talk tonight because the brother from Brooklyn, Michael K. Williams, who played Omar on The Wire, you know, to see him pass, that broke my heart. You feel me? You feel me? That put me in a place where I have to we have to have a dialogue. You know, we have to have a conversation. You know, we gotta dig a little bit deeper and we gotta address some things. Okay? So we're gonna have this conversation tonight. It's gonna be interesting. I'm even gonna go to one of my old lectures that I did so we could talk about some things. Cleveland is in its thing. Texas is North Mexico. You damn real about that. You right about that. You right about that. Gainesville, Georgia. You know, um, man, Chalky White, Chalky fucking White, Chalky White. If y'all don't know who Chalky White is, don't even say that you knew. Oh, don't say you only know homie from Omar. You're doing yourself a disservice. Take my word for it. Go on HBO and watch you some Boardwalk Empire. You understand? And get into the character named Chalky White. That's my guy, Michael K. Williams. He was the fucking series, yo. That character he played. Remember, he went up against Narcisse Valentine. Remember we talked about Narcisse Valentine. In the show, his name was Dr. Narcisse Valentine. The same way we have Dr. Valentine L in the community. He was from Trinidad, the same way that our Dr. Valentine L is from Trinidad. And they put him in the UNIA, and he was selling that doogie. He was selling that boy. He was selling that Fetty, coincidentally. You know what I mean? Tonight we're gonna explore heroin and substances and uncontrolled substances inside of hip hop, right? Inside of hip hop. And you never watched it and you don't know, homie. All right, fucking Scott. Okay. Get to know him. All right. Get to know him. Yes, Lovecraft. That was a role that he was co-starring in. I wouldn't want to reprise that role. You dig? I wouldn't want to reprise that role. But if anybody goes on HBO and begins the process of watching Boardwalk Empire, and you get into, I guess it's the first 2 episodes, you'll be hooked. If you appreciate good writing, and it's a historical piece where, of course, like all of these platforms do, they tweak the truth. They sprinkle in the truth as the framework or the foundation of the storyline, and then they add their writing chops into the whole thing. So this story is a rendition of the Prohibition era and the mobsters in Atlantic City and whatnot. Scarface is a prominent character in the feature. J. Edgar Hoover is very prominent, and also his agents and things of that nature. And, you know, the other mob figures. And Chalky White is that nigga. You know what I'm talking about? Chalky White is that nigga, you know? And yes, he did play a few homosexual characters. for the homosexual police out there, yes, he did play a few characters of the other, of the whatchamacallit, of the Rainbow Persuasion. And he bodied every role. He's a thespian, okay? In case I have anybody out here from Piscataway or from Boise, Idaho, who never heard the lingo. He's a thespian. He's not just an actor. You feel me? A nigga who got a headshot and he just goes to, he goes to read scripts and whatnot, or a shorty who got herself a headshot at CVS and she just wants to be in videos, commercials. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's the big screen. Those could be considered actors and actresses. They're just in it for the limelight. Then you have people who are trained in the art of theater, thespians, people who have, read Shakespeare and have, they started out in theater. They started out, and this is really, these like Leroy and Fame, my nigga. Yeah, dancer too. Yeah, he was a dancer. True thespian, right? True thespian. You know what I mean? And, right, this is adding on to the 9/11 meme that me and my brother have been, strumming playing the harp, strumming the strings of the 9/11 theme. I'll tie in a few 9/11 scenarios tonight. But Pac enters into the chat once again because Pac discovered him and got him his first acting role in one of the last movies that we saw Pac in, which was called Bullet, right? This young man, Michael K. Williams, he reigns out of the Flatbush area of Brooklyn, New York, right? Out of Brooklyn, New York. He's from Vanderveer Projects, right? He's from Vanderveer Projects, okay? And if anybody's from Flatbush, you don't have to, you could be from either East Flatbush or Flatbush. You know about Vanderveer Projects. You know how real Vanderveer Projects is. You know that if you made it through Vanderveer Projects, then you were equipped in the art of survival. Okay. If Pac co-sign you, you definitely gonna be great. Shoot, that's a fact. That's facsimile. You know what I'm talking about? That's a factory. 54 was the year that he transitioned. He was only 54 years young, right? 6 months ago, he did an interview about overcoming drugs, right? And an interest in death. So Macon in the building. So yes, and when you look at his archetype, when you see his phenotype and his archetype is a resemblance of many brothers in the hood and whatnot. He has a certain look that matches, it's an archetype, right? His DMX tribute was mad powerful. Spirit invoking, right? Hair raising, right? He was in his bag. Okay? He was in his bag. Right? So by him getting in his bag and whatnot, he was showing his acting chops. He was exhibiting the fact that he was able to, he's more of he's the type of actor who was known to embody the role, right? Do they call that the method actors? He embodied who he became. He embodied it. He became that, Sometimes we know that some of these characters even come with trauma and they come with their own pain, and that pain can even trigger PSD in actors that are portraying them. Like what happened to Heath Ledger in the Joker and whatnot, when he completely embodied the role and the role began to haunt him, right? The role began to haunt him. There's some actors and some thespians, and there's even some musicians, right? And people who play on orchestras, some of them abuse pharmacopoeia, or some of them abuse psychedelics, or some of them abuse uncontrolled substances to the point where they're almost in a trance when making their art, right? When blowing the trumpet, playing the sax, playing the piano, playing a harp, singing and hitting certain type of notes. Rest in peace to Whitney Houston. You know what I'm talking about? Rest in peace to Prince, who had fentanyl in his system. Rest in peace to Michael Jackson, right? Rest in peace to James Brown, who had pharmacopoeia in his system when he made transition, right? Rest in Prince, rest in rise in power. I don't even like to say rest in peace. Rise in paradise, or rise in power, or rise in purpose to these great ones. So the brother was from my hood, right? I'm from Flatbush myself. I'm not from Vanderveer, but some of my peoples, my close peoples that we grew up with, they were from Vanderveer. Flatbush Pulley kids, you know what I'm talking about? Baltimore. Shout out to everybody from the anyway. Yeah, shout out to everybody from Vanderveer. So the brother was discovered by Tupac, and one of the brother's defining roles was playing Omar on The Wire, who was a homosexual stick-up kid / shooter, the prototype for many people that we see walking these streets these days, right? And he embodied the character, and he played a part in one of the greatest, you feel me? One of the greatest, written television shows and series in history, in TV history, and that's The Wire, right? Played Omar on The Wire. And the writing on that series is spectacular, right? Storyline. So yes, we have Billie Holiday, we have Rick James, Sean Price, who made transition in his sleep. Okay. His Lovecraft Country role was deep as well. Yes, it was. It was, you know. And after his role in as Omar in The Wire, where he gets murdered by a young child, a young shooter, right? Somebody to be the age of Yummy from Chicago, rising power to that young shooter, right? But keep in mind, remember, y'all, think about it. Remember the Wire when the young shooter killed Omar? Prior to that, I don't really recall it being, customary for young child soldiers or young shooters in the hood. I remember seeing that on The Wire, and we were taken aback a little bit because we was like, damn, that little nigga is too young to be killing Omar. Ain't he a little too young? He's not even a teenager. This is a preteen. And then after that, if you could recall, you begin to see, if somebody could do the research, go find a year of that episode where Omar died and whatnot. And I would tell you, a few years after that, we get introduced into Chief Keef and the whole Chicago drill scene, right? Not the Chicago gang scene, not the GD or the BD scene. We're not introduced to that. We got introduced to that with the Hood DVDs and all of the shit that was coming on cable and whatnot, talking about gangland. We got introduced to the rap beef. We got introduced to Chief Keef versus the niggas from 63rd. You know what I'm talking about? Chief Keef versus JoJo, rest in peace. That's what we got introduced to. Yeah, City of God introduced us to the child killers as well. You feel me? To me, that was like the beginning of that shit. That was kind of like That was kind of like the foundational, that was the primer. Little Zay and them. That was like the primer with Little Zay, right? September the 8th, 2008. So that was like, that started to show, and I would say that the young killers started popping up. They killed Yummy in 2009. I would say that the young killers started popping up. No, they didn't. It wasn't 2009. It was before that. It was around the time Tupac was alive. But around 2012 is where you get introduced into this drill shit, right? So keep in mind, a lot of this it's all tied in and whatnot, right? So what the drill culture introduces to us, and what the drill culture rolled out to the culture, or to the culture at large, keep in mind, hip hop is a quote unquote tool, right? Hip hop is a tool. Hip hop is a divination system. Hip hop is tied into the culture, right? Hip hop is a wave. Hip hop is a way of life for young Black children of both genders coming up and whatnot. This is their learning modality. This is like their motherboard, right? So wherever hip hop goes, right? Wherever hip hop goes, that's where the people go. You feel me? That's where the people go. Okay? So, City of God is after The Wire. Can somebody verify that? Is City of God after The Wire or before The Wire? I believe it's before The Wire. Right? So hip hop is a tool that's used for brainwashing. You're absolutely correct, Bigger TV. It is definitely a tool that has been utilized for brainwashing, because there's people who are in control of hip hop in a way where they could they could manipulate what's being said by who. Now there's some shit that slips out and it benefits the people as a whole and whatnot, but that's that's not as often as the fuckery that's being created and funneled to the people through in the name of hip hop, right? But what we were introduced to with drill music was not just drilling, because like I said, we was introduced to the drill. We was introduced to the kill. We were introduced to the quote unquote a culture of some young children who were not even considered, they were not even legal to go to war as of yet. They were not even of a legal age to be drafted into the army, right? But they were out here in Chicago bodying each other. And what woke everybody up is when little JoJo got killed and whatnot. You know what I mean? And they were beefing with Chief Keef and the young Baphomet, Lil Reese and whatnot. And that began to shift in the culture, right? What it also brought into the scene was pills and a lean addiction, right? So think about it. Hip hop influences men that are 40 and 50 years old, 30 and 20. If you have 16-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 14-year-olds, 13-year-olds, 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds, and 19-year-olds controlling the programming of what we deem to be quote unquote, they succeeded in the programming because they put everybody on the drill, not just the drill music, a drill mind state. They succeeded in putting people underneath a spell of the drill culture, where everybody got an op now, or multiple ops. You know what I'm talking about? Everybody is using op language. Everybody is, utilizing, even the sound has been incorporated into damn near the majority of the music. So The Wire premiered on June the 2nd, 2002, and it ended on March 9th, 2008, right on Biggie's Day, March 9th, 2008, right around the time when Obama was becoming, or when he was in his reign of presidency and whatnot, right? City of God is 2002. So you get it all around this time. You know what I mean? You're getting all of these characters and whatnot. And keep in mind, these characters are archetypes, but these characters, will program. These characters are part of a program that have already succeeded in programming people. You know what I'm talking about? So in 2008, you had the young shooter shoot Omar, kill the stick-up dude that everybody feared, and it was almost like they were passing the buck to the youth. They were passing the buck to these youngins and whatnot. And it's been kind of going in that direction ever since. So with all of the quote unquote killings or all of the drilling and whatnot, you also have the pilling, right? The popping of the pill to numb out, as a killer or a shooter, you're taking these pills to numb yourself, or you're taking these pills to numb yourself from the pain of losing the homies and whatnot, or losing your home, your loved ones. And you're sipping on the lean and whatnot because you're on your demon time and you're just getting into a certain type of state. You're popping the beans because you want to have fun. You know what I mean? And this is what's actually killing a large majority of the youth, unsuspectingly. It's not being spoken about. It's not being highlighted. It's not the topic of discussion, even amongst the old heads and whatnot. They're overlooking it. But there's a legit epidemic going on right now. And it's not just the youth. It's not just the young crowd or the younger generation. It's also people of the older generation as well that are succumbing to, these laced pills, over the ODing on bad batches and shit like that, and just going overboard with their escapism or their addictions, right? So let me get into something real quick. Let's get into this slideshow because, like I said, I don't want to be here all night. I want to talk about Donda and Certified Lover Boy. I want to get that out the way. But let's talk about this. Let's get into this real quick. Let's get some teaching. Make sure y'all hit them like buttons. You feel me? Hit the like button. And hit that Cash App too. Shout out to everybody that's hitting the Cash App. I'm going to give you a shout out at the end of this show. Hold on 1 minute. Let me find something. You said a bad Labor Day batch? Give me 1 minute, y'all. Let me just make sure everything is okay. So this is a lecture that I did in 2020, I believe. The perceived threat. Yeah, I did it in 2020. So this is the PDF that I'll be reading off from. Give me 1 minute, y'all. I just have to make sure. Okay. So boom, we're good. Rise of power to the young gods. Okay, boom. There you go. There you go. I did this we did this for that matter, February the 19th, 2020. That's right when Pop Smoke got killed, right? Psychotropic drills, aesthetic death, right? So we were getting into the aesthetic nihilism of the youth culture and how they're so obsessed with death. You know what I mean? The obsession that they have with, just throwing it all away, you know? So I'm going to get into some things about heroin, or I just want to call it pharmacopoeia, right? Chemical warfare. Oh, look at this. This is back when I was talking about Voltron, right? And preaching the word about, how strong this whole network or community would be if they were to focus on the issues outside rather than the differences inside, right? The fact that all of these organizations spent years, battling each other and making mockeries of each other and, debating each other and creating more fractions within each other when they could have been focusing on a different vibration, which is the power in each other, the potential in each other, the fact that the same way that the Voltron has different color lions, meaning that they have different powers, they have different lanes that they occupy, but when they come together, they're an unstoppable force, right? This is what I've been proposing to this community since I got in this bitch. You know what I'm talking about? And people, for the most part, they've ignored it, right? They've completely ignored it. They've done everything but, honor that wish right there, or that command, So I just thought I'd mention that, you know. Okay. Rising power to the Pop Smoke. This PDF is also available for purchase for, all of my students out there. You could also hit me up on the Cash App for the PDF as well. You dig? Now, we've been talking about the Taliban during the When in Rome series, and we were explaining how the Taliban had a hand in the drug trade, right? More importantly, the heroin trade, okay? And we also explained that after them taking over Afghanistan, they publicly said that they have plans to destroy the poppy fields. So the CIA and other people who deal with drug dealing and whatnot, that's something that I'm definitely sure that they don't want to hear. because this illicit underground or underworld, or what we call a rat line that they've been running, right, to fund and to, always clean all of this dirty money that they're getting and whatnot, but it's able to fund multiple projects that are not on the books and whatnot. And it's also able to fund that secret government that these people are running. They decided that they wanted, that they'd rather go to a synthetic form of the doogie or the heroin and whatnot, or the opiates. And they've been turning to this this fentanyl. So I just want to breeze through how many talented young artists of the last generation, right? Of the Generation Z, Generation X, and we even have some of our own, right? And the majority of these children are dying from gunshot wounds. They're being murdered, right? They're being shot, and they're having overdoses, okay? They're having overdoses. They're dying in their sleeps. They're dying millionaires. They're dying at the heights of their careers. Not on some old I fell off and I'm feeling real desolate about everything. I want to take it. No, these people are dying at the heights of their careers, you know, which to some people may be a great thing in terms of, becoming a legend or an immortal, or your mystique just growing because you died from an overdose at the heights of your career. How rock and roll is that? But, for the most part, nah, not when you had not when you had many more years to contribute your arts and grow as an artist. But here's some names of some of the people that were lost, right? Rest in peace to all of the rappers that we lost too soon. Pop Smoke, Juice WRLD, Mac Miller, Fredo Santana, Nipsey Hussle, XXX Jenny Wapo, Smoke Dogg, Little Peep, Bankroll Fresh, Fife Dog, Shorty Low, Little Snoop, Speaker Knockers, Young Mozzie, La Capone, Nate Dogg, Cap Steves, right? X was 20, Juice WRLD was 21, Little Peep was 21, Little Snoop was 18, Mac Miller was 26, Fredo was 27, Capital Steez was 19, Pop Smoke was 20, right? So even though there'll be some adults in the audience like, I never heard of those goddamn artists. Well, who are those names? That don't sound like MC Hammer. Like, I get it. I respect you respectfully. But, these children, right? Like I said, there's children out here, and the way that the game is set up, the way that they set the hip hop game, and the way that they've been setting the culture up, these 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds and 21s and whatnot, they're leading the whole culture. They're the ones who are dictating fashion. They're the ones who are telling you how to think and, and resolve issues. They're the ones who are basically programming and, leading the people, because they're the ones that they push into the front, right? Let's get into some of the drug stuff. I don't want to. I could stay. I could have a long conversation about some of these slides, but that's not the topic of the conversation tonight. Oh damn. Well, okay. I thought there was some more research on it, but I guess not. All right. But yeah, these kids is out here, and I'm not trying to be the old head kid police, but I think that a conversation needs to be had. You know, I think a conversation needs to be had with some of the OGs and the youth. You know, because this has the potential to get even more out of hand. You know, but yeah, um, we'll have more talks about this. You know, we'll revisit um, a little bit of history of King Heron or the opiates in the hood, and go over some of the things that's being done to make that change. What I want to talk about before we get out of here, and what was a hot button topic on a lot of people's minds, was the comparison of the two projects that just were released, Donda and Drake's album Certified Lover Boy. Now, I understand that Nas put out King's Disease Part 2, and then that's a great album. However, that is not a part of the conversation that I'm having. I'm having a conversation about a 9/11 rap battle between these two, right? It's a declared battle because Kanye is getting at Drake. And if you listen to Drake's album, you know that he's getting at Kanye. Damn near every other song is about Kanye, right? There's a lot of sneak dissing that was taking place on both ends. And then to put the cherry on the top and to put it into all speculations, they wound up leaking a Kanye song with Andre 3000, and boom, there it goes. He was getting at Drake by name. He was man enough to say his name. You know what I'm talking about? So I listened to both projects. I was able to listen both of them. I was able to, you know, live with both of them. I flew on airplanes in the middle of the sky, listening to both of these albums, so I didn't have no distractions. You know, I was literally, on the cloud nine, and I would say, respectfully, that sonically, depth wise, meaning that it was able to make me think. And even more on a fusion side, it's a newer sound. It's a sound that I wouldn't want everybody to adopt. You know, it's one of those unique sounds, like how Griselda has a sound and other people can't necessarily get away with that sound. So Kanye has a specific sound that he has created with the merging of gospel and the merging of hip hop, that if done right, it has a spiritual connotation to it. You know, if done right, if done in a sincere state. And some of his guests catch the Holy Ghost. You know what I mean? You'll have yourself an experience right there. So listening to both of those albums, I would rate Donda over Certified Lover Boy. And it's a battle. Let's make no mistake about it. It's the 9/11 battle to help mirror the 9/11 20-year anniversary that we find ourselves in. The fact that we've been saying consistently that things from 20 years are beginning to loop themselves. As you've seen, there's a viral post that went all around, and it showed you what Blue Pill pointed out on the show we just did the other day, where you have the floods in New Orleans, right? You have the White Sox at number one, and it was a few other things, and everything lines up. That's not coincidence. That's the perfect. That's the time. That's because time is centrifugal. That's the perfectness of the formula. You know, they're gonna do the. I believe they'll do the count on 9/11 on Tuesday, right? Or whatever day 9/11 is, but they'll have the count of who won the numbers race. They're going to do the tally of the numbers race. And that'll either hit on 9/11 or before 9/11 and feed into it. But those two are definitely having a feud. You know what I mean? They're having a feud, and rightfully so. You know, it was already predicted that that would happen. Blue Pill did that in 2010 in the blueprint. No, in the lecture we did called Fear of a Black Planet with Professor Griff in Atlanta, 2010. Blue Pill already lined it up. Drake and Kanye were going to be beefing. Shit you not. If anybody saw that lecture, put a fire emoji in the chat. That's a classic. Everybody didn't see that because there's a lot of new people who just started checking shit out recently. You know. But if you were to ask me, the album of the year will come from Kendrick Lamar if he does what needs to be done and not speak about the shit that's going on. Because, you know, as much as I like J. Cole's album, as much as I like King Disease, as much as I like Donda, as much as I like CLB, they're not speaking about the shit that's going on. They're not getting deep. They're not going into no type of social political bag. You feel me? All right, boom. Look at that. Look at the people that saw that. You know what I'm talking about? So, you know, I'm not just sitting here, you know, feeling myself and whatnot and talking out the side of my neck. You know, this is considered receipts, right? This is considered receipts. This has social credit right here. Like Blue Pill said almost 10, he said it a minute ago. He was like, Draco, the bear with the whole he was utilizing the star systems and shit. Like, what do you how do you see that? How can you think of some shit like that? But here we have them. Lo and behold, out of all of the artists in the world that could be beefing, it's these two. You know? So it has deeper meanings than just surface or what people may say. That's a distraction. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. But it is what it is. They gave us a good Andre 3000 verse. If you ask me, it was all worth it. If that was what we got out of it, it was all worth it. And his verse was better than, you know, both of their albums. So, you know, the winner is the audience. You know, y'all are the winners. You know, you are demanding quality music. This is something we need to heal our fucking souls at the end of the day. We need quality music. We really need quality music, bro. Like quality music and a great demonstration is chicken soup for the soul. So whatever artists need to feel the pressure or whatever artists need to step up and go for the throne, you know, I'm begging y'all at this point, make it happen because, you know, good music will heal us. That's something that our people need, you know. So I'm looking to see what Kendrick is going to do. Maybe you'll get a Jay-Z album at the end of the year, you know, and some other people. Now, I'm not going to say that I didn't like Drake's album. His pen is crazy. His pen is retarded. His flow is you know, he's in his comfortable bag, he's in his pocket and whatnot. Um he was talking that talk, but it didn't it was Drake. It was expected. It was even subpar because I expected more. Like I thought it was gonna be bigger than what it was and whatnot. So he got songs that grow on you. He got his little commercial hits and whatnot. And he has his you know, 7 a.m. songs where he's talking that shit. You feel me? That 7 a.m., you know, when he's in his conversational bag and whatnot. So, you know, he was tapping Kanye's jaw on many occasions. But when I listen to it, it's like are Kanye is on your mind constantly. Kanye was on this man's mind. Remember, keep in mind, the album cover has pregnant emojis on it. They're supposed to be baby making music. It wasn't. It was more Kanye subliminals than baby making music. Yeah, somebody said his pen is ghosting. He got a ghost pen, so that's not even his pen. Whoever's ghost writing with him, their pen is crazy. You know. Yeah, we don't actually need none of them. They cancel themselves out. We don't need none of them. You absolutely right about that. Make no, you know, this is not an endorsement whatsoever for anybody to feel like they need any artist. Let me be clear. When I'm speaking about both of these albums, it's because as a consumer of this of content, right? As a connoisseur of the fine arts, you understand? I sat at that table with my fine silverware and I carved up each project and tasted it. You know what I'm talking about? That's what I do. I'm a critic, you know. So I'm gonna carve it up and taste it. That's my job. You don't have to do that. But that's something that I did. Um CLB, the beats are a little more wavier. But think about this. Drake couldn't premiere that album in the stadium and get the same type of feeling that Kanye did. Kanye made stadium music. Kanye made an album dedicated to his mother. Drake made an album dedicated to his baby mother. And Kanye stuck to the topic more than Drake did. I don't care what nobody says. The majority of his album is a gospel hip hop fusion album that has a new sound and a familiar sound attached to it. And every one of his features were not all over the place. They knew the assignment and they delivered that shit. They kept it hip hop spiritual. You know, and they remember no curses. They were keeping that shit in alignment. If you listen to the album sequenced the right way on a good system, you can't listen to Donda on your headphones. On a good system, when you listen to that on a good system, you're gonna hear some motherfucking music. You're gonna hear some good production. You're gonna hear some, you know, he's making art, my family. He's making art. Understand the difference between music and art. He's kind of making a little bit of some fucking art, my friends. You know, I'm gonna remove my personal feelings for each artist because that's not how I approach all types of music. Not gonna include rumors or how I feel about him or my disposition for a red hat. You know, that's a cross that he has to bear. You know what I'm talking about? That's a cross that he has to bear. You niggas don't approach, if you approach music by taking how you personally like a person, then you're gonna take a lot of enjoyment out of your life. You know, I'm a musician and I respect the art. So I tap in and I go to art galleries and I look at your art. You know, I give it a taste. I take it for a spin around the block. So I come back and I'm like, yeah, please, I need Kendrick in my life. Feed me some fucking Kung Fu Kenny because I need social commentary. I don't feel comfortable just blowing shit over, and they're really out here drilling niggas, and there's a war going on outside, and the empire is falling. Like, I don't want to deal with, the Fetty Wap music, Fetty music. You know what I mean? It's music with opiates. It's escapism. It's let's be fucking numb. Let's lean. Let's nod. Let's be in the nod. Let's be in a state of nod. Right? Let's be in a state of nod. I don't want to be in a nod state. I want to be wide awake, my niggas. I want to see what the fuck is going on, because they out here jabbing people, you know what I mean, with all kind of shit, with nanobots and all kind of stuff. The Jabberwocky is taking people's arms off. So I'm like, I don't have time to play around and look at life, in a buffoon type of way. So the fact that these niggas is rapping, yeah, I can use that right now in life. Ain't too much. It's not too much exciting shit going on. Let's get Mandingo wrestling match with Kanye and Drake. That's a versus now. We need to see the verses. Stop fucking playing with us. We don't want to do no more sneak dissing. And Jay Prince can't talk you out of this one, homeboy. Let's see the verses. Fuck it. Get your guns out. And that's really Kanye falling on the sword. So, so Drake doesn't play himself and try to run up on Hove. Because initially that was the issue. He was talking too greasy about the big homie. Like he could fuck with the big homie. Like he was on Jay-Z status. So the nigga Kanye just, how you have your dojas and whatnot? He just was on some doja shit, like from one nerd to another. Like, nigga, pipe down. What are you talking about? How dare you? Watch the throne. You know what I'm talking about? Watch the throne. So always know that that's Drake's secret op. It's always Jay-Z. If you don't know that, then you just don't know the game. You haven't been watching and listening. You feel me? Just know that Scorpion is scheming on that Sagittarius. As a Scorpion, I know the motherfucking scheme. You know what I mean? The scheme is on the big homie's legacy, and to say, in front of the world that you bigger than the big homie. He was talking low-key greasy on this album, to be honest with you, with trying to claim all of that goat shit. You know what I mean? While you got Jay-Z on your album, whose verse was hotter than your whole album. You know what I'm talking about? Jay-Z's bars, that 16 was a little more, you know what I mean? It was a little more believable than all of that champagne talk that Champagne Poppy was having. You understand? I believed every fucking word that Jay-Z said versus what the Drake shit, I had to convince myself to believe this nigga. And when Kanye said, when I hit you with the what you doing, you better be writing some lyrics, nigga, I felt that. Okay, I felt that. I was like, when he said on GD, I told that nigga was popping. I felt that, and I could see that happening because everybody and their mother has the same thing to say about Drake when they know him personally. And this is no disrespect to his character, none whatsoever. That's my Scorpion brother, so I take up for him. But they said that he's moister than a jellyfish. You know what I'm talking about? At a day spa. Mad moist. He's moister than a jellyfish soaking their feet. How about that? So, I don't think he understood the assignment. I really don't. I don't think Drake understood the assignment. I don't think his album was staying to what the cover or what the quote unquote, what he had dedicated it. He said it was a toxic album or whatever. I don't think he stayed completely. I was listening for some gal tunes, my nigga. I wanted some captions. I heard a few, but not like I thought. So whatever. Expectations are not to be had, but we're in a lockdown. We're in a different day and age. We're post conjunction. You know what I'm talking about? Niggas lit up Clubhouse with consciousness. I would have thought that the artists, they said that they were drinking sea moss and meditating and doing other things. I just want to see I want to see it reflected in the art. You know, I want somebody to raise the frequencies, but I guess I have to just rely on the underground or the God hoppers. Lil Wayne versus Jay-Z. Because keep in mind, that's where the whole standing comes in. Remember, Drake is under Lil Wayne, and Lil Wayne always is the Jay-Z stan who thinks that he could take down the GOAT, right? He was thinking that when he had his mixtape run, that he was lapping the GOAT, right? They thought that he was lapping the GOAT. And then he kind of slowed down and whatnot, and that talk stopped. But when he was in his Baggington, when Lil Wayne was in his bag, when he was in his Birkin, my nigga, he also was trying to sniff up on the throne and whatnot and act like he was finna take down, he was finna eat some curry goat, like he was gonna take the goat out. Like he was gonna fuck with you know what I mean? Yeah, mixtape Weezy was feeling himself. Remember that? Remember that? And then they had to do the show Hello Brooklyn together so niggas wouldn't think that something was happening. But he was trying to ease up on Hova's legacy. And then you see he signs Drake. Drake knows that he's better than Lil Wayne, so he's of course aiming at that target, and that target is Jay-Z. So I respect Drake for getting in the way. Fuck it. You know? He got to clap back now. You know Drake, his ego is not going to allow him to not clap back. He leaked the song with Andre 3000. He probably writing right now. Young Money is still running shit. Is that a fact? Carlito versus Benny Blanco. Yeah, it does happen. That does happen. You know? That does happen. But yeah, somebody said stop it, B. You capping. Remember that? He was in his Jay-Z bag. Real heavy, bro. Real heavy. Real heavy. But yeah, I ain't gonna keep y'all all night. You know what I mean? I got traveling to do. You feel me? I got traveling to do. I had a very long weekend celebrating Wisdom Bella's 8th birthday. She was turned up. You know what I'm talking about? She got love from the community. Shout out to everybody that sent her birthday presents or cash apps for that nature. She appreciate every single one of the people that are out there and showing love to her because she showed love to them. Yeah, shout out to her mother. Shout out to her family. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to, once again, the family that came to the pop-up that we had in Houston today. We still got this available on replay. All right. I have the Zoom available tomorrow morning. So hit up the Cash App, $33. Anybody that wants to watch the replay of the Houston pop-up, biggest crypto play ever. The evolution will be digitized. All right. It was fire. All right. Shout out to Pop Darby. Shout out to J Crypto, Slice, and my brother Iggy. All right. Shout out to Blue Pill for this monumental episode. This is a classic. Make sure y'all check that out if y'all didn't see that already. That's on the channel. Hit the subscribe button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell. Make sure you hit the bell. Hit the like button and leave a comment. or any type of questions, hit my email. I'm sorry, I should have put this up earlier. Hit my email. This is the email. These mail. Boom. All right. Will that be at Alta Candy? Yeah, I'm not sure. That Project Pat was hard. I like Project Pat, you know. I'm just kind of cool on 21 at the moment. So like I said, I want to hear shit like that. Yeah, Kendrick and Andre. I just need some grown. I need some season. You know what I mean? Like I need some shit. I need something to season, man. I'm tired of listening to the 16-year-olds. Like they're good for their features and whatnot. Don't get it fucked up. The youth, the 20-year-olds and whatnot. Little Baby, of course, and a few other ones. Dirt and a few other ones. They got that. They got that energy right now. They got that wave. They got that energy. So I fucks with them. They're good for a sprinkle. I listened to a whole Little Baby album. He has the potential to put out something very powerful. But I want to hear the OGs right now, the ones who are relevant, you know, and not in popularity or none of that stupid shit or fake ass fame and followers. The ones that are relevant because they got grown man bars, like how what Nas gave us. That was nigga, that was food. As you can see, the people are fed right. You feel me? Burry White, that's right. We fed right. We our stomachs are full and whatnot. We want more like that. We want more like that. We want to root for the OGs and whatnot. With too many of the OGs are leaving us, and the other side got to be lit. DMX, Michael K. Williams, Black Rob, like these niggas are they gang. It's a gang over there or something. I don't know what's going on. Pop Smoke, the shit is like 300 on the other side, but you know, a lot of the OGs is leaving, so we need as much plates. You know, we need as much content as we could get because it's already a void. You can't fill in the void that was left when we lost the great ones. Starting with the first Twin Towers, it's been a void. It's been a void since we lost the first Twin Towers. Biggie and Pac is opened up a motherfucking you know, it cracked the egg in a sense. Prodigy, Nipsey. You know what I'm talking about? Pop Smoke, Sean Price. Right? Look at the black hole that's been left. Mo 3. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, Ransom is that dude. Let's not get it fucked up. It's time for a conscious concert. You think so? You think so? You need a red winter drop? What's that? MF Doom. Right? ATL, Bumpy Oculus. Right? You know? So many great ones. Sean Price. So many great ones. It's a void. Yeah, I like Shot at Prince. I like Shot at Prince. You know? Mine got to build up their catalogs. You know, we got work to do. You know what I'm talking about? I want to take this music shit more serious. Man, 500,000. Talk about it. Stack bundles. Chinks drugs. You know? Yeah, Chicago Crypto got bars. We was in the studio in Chicago together. I seen him live cook up. You know what I mean? The God Body got bars. It ain't no, you know what I mean? And it's not even like a Chicago sound. You know, son got bars for real. Shout out to Chicago Crypto. Slice got bars too. Shout out to Slice. Slice got bars. He was signed to Future back in the days. Blue Pill be spitting. Yeah, he do be. He be spilling. He definitely spilling. He got the spoken word flow. Yeah, he be spilling. But yeah, I'm out, yo. It's been a pleasure. Love and light to all of the family. Rise and power to Michael K. Williams. Y'all be good. Y'all stay dangerous. See you on Third Eye Thursdays.